up, everybody? Welcome back to Worlds Collide presents Couples Talk. That's Miss Diva Talks.
What's up, y'all?
I'm the kid JW, and we are dropping this video on a literally breaking news cycle of that. For those of y'all who are coming over from the JW show, did the whole brief intro onto the whole Quiet on the Set, the whole Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon fiasco that really affected a lot of our us 90s, early 2000s, us 90s kids as a whole. 90s kids, 2000s kids really affected us as a whole, and we just want to sit here and provide our insight because it really affected, well, not so much her because she's a Disney kid, Cartoon Network kid.
Exactly.
I'm a Nickelodeon kid through and through. You know, you cut me open, I bleed green slime. But jumping on into it, that's when Steven talks. I'm a kid JW. So as we talked about on my show, the whole Drake Bell, Jeanette McCurdy, to an extent, Jamie Lynn Spears, Joy 101 for those of y'all who don't know. Jeanette McCurdy, iCarly, Salmon Cat, Drake Bell from The Man Show, and obviously Drake and Bell. Drake and Josh, my fault. Drake Bell, would you say that his dad did a good job, given the situation, trying to protect him for what was going on?
I mean, I guess. What?
I agree. The main reason I say, I gotta say he did his best because with everything that's going on, he had an inkling. You know, he had a little inkling that something fishy was going on, and he really tried to step up and say it. But you know, powers that be, you know,
Exactly. Separated him from
the more
his
he,
son, and
the more he tried to sit there and speak up, the more he was like outcasted and whatnot, to the point where you in the rock. It's already a bad situation because you're going through a divorce. You know, so dad, you know, he's getting older. Drake is getting older. You know, creepy dude. Forgot dude's name. Not Dan. The other dude. Peck.
Yeah.
Thank you. You have Peck who was doing these things, and basically, I don't want to say narcissistic, but I would say very controlling and brainwashing, because he was basically whispering in his mom's ear, "Hey, you need to get rid of dad because he's mismanaging money. He's doing this, he's doing that. You know, Drake needs a better manager. I can take him there." And the mom didn't really. What it comes off, what I gathered from the interview, the mom didn't really know too much about the showbiz side of things. The dad did. So once you took the biggest threat, and this is the same for anybody who's dealing with a creep like that. Community guidelines here. A creep like that. I would say once you get rid of the person who basically is the voice of reason, once you get rid of that person, it becomes a lot easier to manipulate that victim, basically.
Yeah, true.
So in Drake's case, once the dad was out the picture, boom. So looking at Drake's situation, I do feel bad. You know, because when we heard all the stories, we all was like, "Oh my goodness, he's doing this." But it's like once you see what happened, it's like it's a cry for help. You know. Jeanette McCurdy. A lot of things I read from. I didn't really read her book too much. I read the excerpts of it when it dropped, and just seeing like, you know, hearing like, oh, he was like how Dan was like really into like feet. He had a foot fetish. So like if you've seen a lot of shows, like you'll see a lot of with feet and whatnot, weird stuff. Like we saw a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dan had a foot fetish. Is it wrong to have it? Is it wrong? Absolutely not. Morally and on the show, yes, absolutely. So, and then even watching the documentary, how he was scaring her and startling her, you could see how it's like, okay, she's not really, you know, feeling it like that, you know?
Yep.
So you can see the stress on her on that aspect. You can also see the stress. You can see from body language. You know, you can see the body language from a lot of people, and especially with her going through the stuff where her mom died and whatnot. Getting right back to it, I would say as a child star, definitely, it's a lot to handle. Because, you know, unlike now, back then, they didn't really care about, you know, therapy, mental health, and all that. It was just, hey, do your job.
Obviously.
So that's what I would say on her for, yeah, definitely. The biggest thing that I really see, and for those of you guys who probably didn't recognize this, I'm actually shocked it took a long time. You know?
Why?
Because when you have one person get arrested for crimes, that should have been a tip. That should have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, hey, let's open up an investigation. Let's look at everything, versus just, oh, hey, status quo. So to me, not only did you have Peck get arrested and whatnot, but you didn't start the investigation and look into things until by that time. I don't want to say Nickelodeon created a monster, but they create a monster.
Essentially.
Because you're giving this guy, you're really you hear the noise that's going on. You hear the noise, but because Dan Schneider basically created every one of your scripted shows and it's making you number one in ratings and bringing in all the money, you're like, well, should we do we stop him? Do we do this? What do we do? So you essentially create a monster because of that. Two, you create a monster in a sense. This man knew that he was the top dog in charge because he had all the power. His name was on every single show that's being played. It basically makes him untouchable. Because if I'm that person, I'm going to look at it like, well, hey, you can't do anything. You can't fire me. You fire me, you lose all of your shows that I created. You know? So they created that monster on that part. So that's why I look at like, man, this is really, they have a hand in it too. While at the same time, looking back, the Me Too movement really did kind of help break a lot of that. To get them out of that comfortability was like, oh, well, hey, you know what? We gotta end the relationship. Even though you brought us here all this long, the Me Too movement and everything, it's really, basically, it's bringing fire here, and we don't need that fire. So in hindsight, by them separating it, breaking, ending it and whatnot with him after all these years, morally, that's a good thing to do. Should have happened earlier and sooner? Absolutely yes. But that's what happens when you get in Hollywood and you have these studios and networks. They know a lot of stuff that goes on, but they're not going to really do anything because the person that's doing it is their moneymaker. And it happens. I was just having this conversation with a comedian on Facebook on their page, and they said the same thing. It happens a lot in Hollywood. With a lot of your TV shows, you hear a lot of rumblings and stuff. But because the star is the star, or the director or whatever is that person, they're not going to do anything,
True.
But in hindsight, but wrapping up, just seeing a lot of stuff, just seeing a lot of the stuff going on. It's kind of sad,
Yeah.
Definitely kind of sad. Definitely with a lot of stuff going on. I do feel like Peck got off way easier than he should have.
Of course he did.
And then the fact that Disney went ahead and hired him tells you all you need to know right then and there. Disney's its own separate thing. But yeah, it's just the whole Quiet on Set thing to me really was an eye opener, and really opened up to what really goes on in that industry and whatnot. And it also makes it to where I can look at it now as an adult and look back at my childhood and be like, dang, it was there the whole time, but we just laughed it off because we looked at it as like, oh, it's funny, it's humorous and whatnot. So that's just crazy. But thankfully all the actors and actresses are getting help mentally and whatnot, and that's the main thing. If you're a victim and whatnot, in that case, definitely it's good to get help and so forth. You got any thoughts or anything on this? What was your thoughts on the whole documentary?
You said everything.
So you ain't had no thoughts or anything.
Again, you said everything.
All right. Well, I guess this is like a part 2 of the JW show. I guess here. Yeah. I know because she's just here. Didn't really say anything. But yeah. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the whole Quiet on the Set documentary that aired on apparently the ID channel and HBO Max? What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comment section below. Carson said that on mine too. But yeah, drop your thoughts and opinions on Quiet with the Set in the comment section below. And we're going to leave that unfiltered so y'all can say what y'all want about this topic. And let me know what y'all think about it as well. We will see y'all in a couple of weeks, actually, with some new stuff. Anything else you want to say bye? What's drop your handle? Where you at?
As always, Colliders, if you enjoyed this couples talk, go ahead and like it and share with someone who you think would like it as well. As always, the links to our individual channels will be in the description below. And if you're not already a Collider, I don't know why you're not. Subscribing is free. Anything else?
Nah, but I need you to do my outros on mine, go, because, man, I forgot all of that. But until next time, y'all, we'll catch y'all next, all right?
Bye, y'all.
Later.